$5,052.84. This is how much money I just spent in a very short amount of time. And this is quite big because I have never ever done anything like this before. Especially because the things that I spent money on were things that I don't really need to survive. These were not needs. These were completely wants. These are things that are just going to improve the quality of my life, and that's basically it. My goal right now is to spend money guilt-free and actually enjoy the money that I work so hard for, rather than focusing on saving and investing every single time. But for some reason, I still can't do that. Because at the back of my mind, I'm always thinking that the money that I'm about to spend on things that I want, this money could always be saved or invested rather than actually spending it. I have always been taught to save money, and the people around me were all about saving money pretty much all my life. You know, counting every single dollar, scrutinizing every little expense to make sure that it is fully justified. And ever since I knew what money was, I've always been taught to just save and save, save, save. And once you have enough money, you can start to buy property because, well, property is always the best investment. It is basically all that people around me have been talking about. I was born overseas in Pakistan. I went to school over there as well for a couple of years, and all the people around me, all my cousins, relatives, every single person, they were all about saving money and being frugal. And if you, God forbid, if you spent money on conveniences or spending money on things that can actually save you time, you were thought of as being a bit of an idiot because, well, why would you spend money on things when you can just do it yourself? So this is my backyard right now. You can see that it is a complete mess at the moment. There's pretty much no grass. Now, if it was up to me, I would pretty much outsource this and pay money to, actual people that know how to landscape and just get it fixed, because it is beyond me. It just takes too much time, and I'm happy to pay for the convenience. However, if I actually spend that much money to, renovate this or whatever, my parents would literally kill me because that's a waste of money. And yeah, that kind of sucks. So basically what I'm trying to say is nobody ever in my life taught me how to spend money, right? Everybody taught me how to save. It's a really weird problem because most people, have issues saving. But for me, it's like, well, I don't really know how to spend money. I'm all good with the saving side, but it's gotten so bad that I'm so frugal, I can't spend money. Nobody taught me how to spend money, and that is the issue that I have. Now, for the past few months, I've been looking into this, right? I've been trying to kind of think about, well, if I keep continuing down this path that I'm on of being really, really frugal, not spending money, what is the stakes of this? What are the stakes of this? What do I stand to lose if I just keep going down this path? And I came up with a few things. Number one, I'm going to be living a very restrictive life. My whole life is going to be defined by saving, investing, building my asset base, and that's basically it. It's not going to be defined by actually enjoying the money that I worked so hard for. It's not going to be defined by buying, beautiful things, having amazing experiences, having amazing relationships. It's just going to be focused on just making money and just making more money. Number two, I'm probably going to die with like millions of dollars in the bank account or the share portfolio or the property portfolio, and that money is going to be wasted. Now, not wasted in the literal sense where it just goes to waste. Of course, it's going to be passed down to the spouse or the kids or whatever, but if I'm working hard for this money, if I'm trying to build up this asset base, I should be able to spend at least majority of it, which I won't be able to do if I just keep on, going down this path. Number three, just looking at the day-to-day things, I'll be buying, cheap items, ridiculous quality items that don't really last long. I'll buy clothes that start to rip in like, a couple of weeks, a couple of months. And I'll have a really, really hard time trying to invest in quality things. Number four, which is probably the most important one, and that is relationships, right? Relationships with your friends and your family. Those are going to break down over time. You'll be referred to as someone who is super stingy, super cheap, that doesn't want to spend money. And, naturally people are going to, start to repel you, or you'll be repelled from them. And you don't want to be that person, right? It's okay to be frugal. I think frugality is quite important in building wealth, but you don't want to be cheap. You don't want to be like super stingy. You don't want to be that person. And you know what? That is the last thing I want to be. I don't want to live a life that is defined by saving, investing, and not actually spending and not actually enjoying the money. I saw a post on Instagram. You should follow me on that, by the way. But basically what this person said was she doesn't want to just live off her passive income. She actually wants to sell down her investments over time, and she wants to hopefully, die with zero, meaning that she spent all the money that she worked so hard for. And that really resonated with me because I don't want to leave behind a huge pile of money. I want to spend that money and enjoy it on experiences and things and whatnot. So how did I escape this sort of restrictive mentality? How can you escape this restrictive mentality? 2 words: conscious spending. There's a guy called Ramit Sethi. He has a website called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Now look, it's a very cheesy name. It's very clickbaity. It's very fake guru-y, but hear me out on this. Just walk past the name. The stuff that he talks about is actually pretty important, right? So in his article, which I'll link in the description, he talks about something called the conscious spending plan. Now, this spending plan is tailored towards spending money while also saving and investing for your future at the same time. And how this is different from traditional budgets is the fact that budgets are all about cutting back. When you hear people talking about budgets, it's all about, cutting back on Netflix, cutting back on Uber Eats, cutting back on all that sort of stuff. But this conscious spending plan tries to get you to spend money on things that you really, really love, while cutting mercilessly on things that you don't need or things that you no longer require. So basically, it's not just about cutting back, it's about spending more on things that you love. So essentially, I read that article and that's how I started to change my mentality around money. And what happened was I completely let go. I started to realize that I've already got the savings and the investments covered off. I'm already investing large amounts of money every single month into the stock market, so it only makes sense to reward myself by spending on things that I really, really love and actually enjoy the money while I still can, while I'm still young. Because it makes no sense worrying about being frugal when you have the important bits covered off, your bills, your savings, your investments. Otherwise, if you don't spend your money now, when exactly do you get to spend the money? Because look at it this way, right? If you spend all your life trying to build your assets, being very frugal in your 20s and 30s, and late 30s, late 40s, whatever, you finally reach that point of financial freedom and you finally come to spending your money, you're not just going to be able to spend your money straight away, right? The discipline and the restrictive mindset around money that you built up for the past 10, 20, 15 years, whatever, that mindset is still going to stay and you're going to have a hard time trying to spend money. You're always going to be worried about running out of money, and that sort of cycle never ends, which is why it's so important to change those money habits now while you're trying to build wealth so you can kind of have a balance. And another thing that actually helped, which is a bit morbid, let me know if it's a bit weird, but if you woke up tomorrow morning and you got a text on your phone and that text said something like, at 5 p.m. today, you're going to die. Right? Very, very morbid. Let me know if it's a bit weird, but if you got that text and you thought about your money habits up until that day, would you, regret the things that you spent money on or the things that you didn't spend money on, right? When I thought about that, I had a few regrets. So then I was like, okay, well, we need to change things. So with conscious spending in mind, I've started to buy quality things when it comes to technology and actually buying things that I absolutely love. So this is a TV that I bought. It was a bit pricier, but it's got great specs for gaming. And also I've got my lovely PS5 there as well. This desk setup right here cost me more than it should have, but I absolutely love it. I just love this desk right here and just the way that it feels. Trying to spend money guilt-free and trying to spend money on quality equipment is probably the best thing that I've done so far. I've stopped scrutinizing every little expense and started to spend money on conveniences that save time, because always remember, time is limited, right? You can always make more money, but time you can never get back. So it only makes sense in some cases to spend money to save time. It's very hard to actually do this at first, but it's worth looking into. So hopefully this video gave you enough value for you to keep watching up until this point. If it did, and if you're watching this for the first time, please leave a like or subscribe. It does help out quite a lot. So in this whole experience that I've shared with you guys, coming from, super frugal roots from, Pakistan, and being very kind of restrictive with money, I've started to unlearn some of the stuff that I've learned previously, and I've started to kind of change into a mindset of more about spending while also maintaining my investments and savings at the same time. I'm still trying to find that balance. I haven't found it yet, but I'm being okay with, spending money more and more. If any part of this video resonated with you, do let me know what you think in the comments. I would read all of them and get back to you for sure. If you enjoyed this video, check out this video right here, which explores the link between happiness and money, and it talks about some of my own thoughts as well. So go check it out. And guys, have a lovely day. Thank you for watching. Bye now. Bye now. Boom, that was a good one, man. All right, we did all right.